everybody, welcome to SAS-a-fras's world. You know who I am. Today I'm out camping at the campground. I'm going to try quite a few of the Battlbox things that we got in not only this month but in past months. Today I'll be using the Lord & Field Pioneersman, I do believe it was called. I think we got it in 45 or 46 as far as the mission wise goes. There's already two things that I kind of see not really wrong with it, but you should be aware. First is, because it has this Allen wrench in here, it has a hole that leads into the handle, okay? So if you're in a wet situation, your knife gets really wet or whatever, just be aware that it is 1095 steel. It will rust in the handle then. So, you know, you get home, take it apart, dry it up real nice. The second thing is, and I realize why they made the handle this way, so when you use the bow drill divot, it fits in your hand better. But, you know, I have medium-sized hands. I don't have huge hands. And I barely, you know, fit as far as this. My fingers kind of got to be scrunched together. But other than that, beautiful knife. We'll see how it works. It did come with a nice leather sheath with a ferrocerium rod. We'll be testing the ferrocerium rod out too also, and the scraping power of this. One of the other things I'm not sure if I like or not, so we're going to test this out, is this is carried, I think they call it scout carry. You can't carry it like this on your pants. You have to carry it, you know, on the side, okay? So, I don't know, by the end of the weekend I'll be able to tell you if I liked it or not. Another thing I'm going to be testing out today is this thermocell, okay? If you guys watched my last video, the Battlbox, you know the bot flies, horse flies, whatever the heck they're called, were terrible. I got out here, I didn't have this thing running, and sure enough, they started trying to dive bomb me again and stuff. As soon as I got this running, I heard them, but they weren't close to me. So far, it seems to be working. I'm going to show you the Battlbox items that I'm going to be testing out here today. And then I'm also going to, I'll show you all the gear I have. But anyway, first of all, I got the first aid kit from the Battlbox. Hopefully I don't have to test this one out. If I do, hopefully it's just to see how some of the little band-aids are as far as sticking wise. Then of course, but I've tested this out before, it works really well. It holds water and any other liquid you need. How about that? And then I got the Boss Fire kit. I know I have a couple little videos on that already, but I think this time I am going to try to do a flint and steel. Yeah, flint and steel. So if I do that, I'm going to use a char cloth in this here. Next is going to be the Going Gear pillow. We'll see how this is. The other one I had was pretty comfortable. It was smaller. It wasn't from Going Gear. I can't remember where it was from. But it was also noisy without a pillowcase. I didn't bring a pillowcase today, so I'm going to try to do it without. But it doesn't seem like it's going to be noisy. The other one, whenever you handled it, it was crinkling in your, you know, crinkling in your fingers. I'm sorry. And then when you were laying in it, it was crinkling in your ear. I don't think this is going to do that, but we'll find out. The bivy from Battlbox. It's supposed to get down to 50 degrees tonight. This should be plenty warm enough. I'm kind of a warm sleeper anyway. But just in case it does drop, because we are still in northern Wisconsin, and even though it is mid-June, we've still had, I think it was a couple nights ago, it dropped actually into the 30s. So, always be prepared. And no, I was never a Boy Scout. I do have another sleeping bag here, so I can slide that into the bivvy if I need it. I also have sleeping pants and stuff like that. And then, of course, the light we got here in last Battlbox, the tent. Woohoo! I'm gonna turn you guys off for a second, get the tripod so I can, well, what the heck, you know what? I'm just gonna turn you guys. So it might be a bumpy ride. This is the equipment I have. Oh, and I also have the tourniquet, just in case. You never know. Oh, and I'm sorry, I forgot another Battlbox thing. I got the takedown ball. I'm going to do some practicing with it. I want to try to get better at instinctive shooting. I've never done it. I've always shot a compound. So I brought my Hucks Brooks X here and my Boreal 21. I don't think I really want to go anywhere without this thing. I love it. This is the sleeping bag I was telling you about, just a 40-degree one, but it'll be perfectly fine with the bivvy. I brought this because I do this with every tent I get. I don't like waking up to wet sleeping bag and stuff because it leaked on me. So I am going to seal it with the silicone spray, and I am going to seal the seams. I did bring several different ways of starting fires because it was supposed to rain. So I brought the old standby Vaseline and cotton balls, big standby, the Zippo. Let me see if we're getting all this stuff here. Oh yeah. So, and then, of course, the flint and steel. Brought a couple lanterns. I got these at Aldi for like $10 for the two of them, so it's pretty cool. Just wanted to see how they light up out here. I'm going to be using, of course, this one here from the Battlbox in the tent itself. We'll see if it lasts like it's supposed to. Let me see here. And then, of course, I can't go camping without my Civil War era fork. Boy, that's a hard one to say. I just love eating with it because every time I look at it, I'm like, you know, how many people have had this? How many people have used this? You know, and I mean, it's just fascinating. I like thinking about that kind of stuff. Not worth anything, but as far as money-wise, but it's definitely worth something to me because it's really neat. So that's the equipment I'm using on this trip, and I'm gonna shut you off, and I'm gonna get the tent over there, and then I'll turn you guys back on and let you watch me set up the tent. Okay, you see the target sitting there. It's got the thermocell on it. So, at any rate, this is the first time trying to set this up. So let's see how long it takes and how well it goes. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to waterproof this tent. I'm going to take a chance for you guys. All of a sudden I wake up with a wet sleeping bag. Well, I guess I wake up with a wet sleeping bag. I got the Jeep right there. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a go without any kind of extra sealant. Next time I set it up, I'll seal it up. Okay, here's the pole, and here are the stakes. Okay, I guess you spread it out. I want the door facing the camp. Then you take the stakes, stake around it, make them tight. There's quite a bit of the weight in these guys here. I just put down the 10 stakes that go around the floor. Next thing is to put this together and put it up in the tent, and then to stake the guidelines down. So we'll get started on that. Alright, the one thing I don't like about this tent, the door flaps are great and fine to have on the outside, because if you're going to close them up, you're going to have to, you know, you're going to have to undo them, zip them, I guess. But it'd be nice to have the window flaps on the inside, so if you wake up at night and you're like, oh man, it wasn't supposed to rain, it's starting to rain, you want to close them, or it got cooler than you expected, you don't have to go outside the tent to undo them and zip them up. So unless there's a way inside the tent, I don't think there is though. Alright, I'm going to bring you in for a little closer view. Alright, so all of the guidelines, which I used to call trip lines, have a reflective surface on them. It's got the one window, there's another window, and the third window. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this stuff here on tents, just because that cracks easier, you know, but hey, it is what it is. It looks like it's going to be a pretty cool tent. Tons of room inside. I'll unzip this here. Bring you on inside. Yeah, lots of room. So when I get everything in there and situated, I will bring you guys back. Okay, instead of using my Battlbox bivy for to sleep in, I have I think it's, let me see, what is it, a Climate, yeah, that's right, sleeping mat, and it fits perfect in here. So now I can just sleep on this instead of sleeping on the vinyl. Sorry about the picture, but yeah, pretty cool. So I'm kind of glad I brought the other sleeping bag anyway. It'll be a more comfortable night's sleep. I am now letting the pillow itself inflate. Said for the first time I might have to help it along, so yeah, we'll see. Okay, I do have my headlamp in here, so when I have to go to the bathroom, I don't have to grab the lantern. So we'll see how it works. And then this is my bed for the night. We'll see how this works with the sleeping bag here on this. It might be a little too slippery, I'm not sure. I'll find out if I slip out of bed. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is go gather some dry tinder and stuff. I do have some dry pine needles right over there, and then some small twig stuff all over the place. Like I said, I am going to try to do flint and steel. We got some kind of menacing looking clouds that might drop a little water on us. If that's the case, I'll have to put you away for a little while because my GoPro ended up going missing. It's somewhere at my house. I think one of the kids used it, but I'm not sure exactly. At any rate, I'm not going to start a fire probably for another 4 hours. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all this stuff up and ready and put it in the Jeep, so then that way if it does rain, I do have dry material to start the fire with. I've been practicing that for quite some time. But while I'm gone, because I'm not going to be able to bring the camera and gather stuff at the same time, I'm going to put you guys away in the Jeep, and then when I come back, I will get you guys back out if it's not pouring. If it is, I'll probably be in the Jeep with you. Or in the tent, one of the two. Alright. I've got a nice dry stick here that I'm going to be splitting in half. I'm going to buck it down to probably about, a foot or so, and then split it in half, and then this will also go into the Jeep for now. The axe is not dull. It's the user. Or I should say hatchet. Here, let's buck up on that. Or I just want to get them mostly off. You don't even have to go all the way through, I mean. Now this has got a natural check in it, natural crack, whatever. So you just lay the hatchet down there. 1, 2, 3. And watch out, if that wood is longer than your handle, it might pop up and get your knuckle. It's happened to me a couple different times. So just be aware of that. Ooh, not quite far enough on the outside. That's all right. We'll get it with that. There's a knot on that one. Oh, well. It'll work. Some of the smaller stuff I could do with the knife too, but I will be playing with the knife a little later on when I go to start the fire. I'll probably carve a little bit with it, see how it holds its edge. Okay, I'm gonna go put this in the Jeep and I'll be right back. Now, pending rain. Ooh, honeybee, cool. Hey buddy. I wanna make sure all my tools are somewhere where they're gonna stay dry. I do always bring out mineral oil with me. That way if the tools do get wet, I can dry them off and put some mineral oil on them to help keep them so the moisture doesn't, because I mean sometimes, you know, when it's raining and everything, you get a good rainstorm and the air becomes moist, and that will start rusting your tools also. So it's always good if you're going to be out camping and you have tools that are made out of high carbon steels that are not stainless steel. It's always good to have some kind of oil, either like even vegetable oil would work, butter would work if you absolutely had to. But like I said, I like to bring mineral oil because mineral oil, it works great and you can eat with it. So in other words, if I wanted to use my knife to chop up something, I wouldn't have to worry about any kind of harmful chemicals on my knife. You can drink mineral oil if you really want to. I don't know who would, but... So yeah, it looks like the clouds are actually going over, so we might not get the rain, but always better safe than sorry. So I'm going to put these guys in here, and I'm going to go searching for stuff and make a bird's nest, and when I have it made, I'll turn you guys back on. Okay, I'm going to come out and do some shooting with the Battlbox bow. I have to apologize, my video that I made with this one versus the other, that wasn't the SAS, it was the, alright, if you're watching my videos, you know what video I'm talking about. I put this together backwards, okay? So, that was my fault. You know, Joe, I watch him a lot and he's always like, oh, pull the Joe. Well, every time he says that, I'm like, hey, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Because I'm like that too. It's just who I am, you know. But if you haven't seen that, I will demonstrate on how to put this together. Very simple. And this time I'll do it the right way. You have two limbs, your string, and your main body. Now, the arrows, I'm going to put this stuff down here. The arrows slide into the main body for storage, and then you screw them together. Now, the last time I did shoot this, one of the arrows did come apart. One of these came out. I had to super glue it back in. No big deal. But if you're gonna go hunting with this thing on some kind of trip or whatever, just to do it, you might want to make sure you fire them off a few different times into the target. Make sure they're solid. So there's the arrows. Now I'm only going to shoot at 5 yards first, so I can try to get it sighted in. You know, or, well, not it sighted in, me sighted in. Because I'm not, like I said before, I used to bow hunt, but it was all compound bow. The only time I actually shot a recurve style bow was in junior high. By the time we got to high school, we could use compound bows. So I'm going to put this here as a starting mark. It's roughly 5 yards. You take the bow and you put your limbs inside here. Okay. And look, it has instructions right on the bow. You take your string, and by the way, I did wax this. I gotta buy a tube of wax for this case. You put your string in here, and you keep tension on it. You get the limb down to the bottom here. Let me back up a little bit, make sure you get this. Step into it. Bend it down. And now, as you can see in this video, the limbs are not up like I was showing on the other video. Helps if you put the thing together fine. Whew. Until I don't have that thing around me, they're starting to find me. So let's shoot this thing. I also did have to get a pair of pliers and turn the nocks the right way. When I go to put an arrow on, have the odd color sticking straight out, because I mean that's how you do it with any kind of sights. You know, you don't have to do it with this really, but I just me. Now this isn't going to be super accurate because unfortunately with the arrows being held in the body, you do get some fluctuation on the fletchings. Stupid flies. I guess you can just take a lighter or something and hold it above it and it should straighten out. Well, at least I'm hitting in the same area. Okay, I think I'm starting to get this bow's number. We'll shortly find out. Get off of here. Okay, I just got the thermostat and turned it back on. It's supposed to create a 15-foot barrier, so we'll see how it works. Well, it's getting a little closer, and it does sink them in pretty good, you know. Any kind of takedown arrows, your arrows will loosen up. You're going to have to tighten them up, you know, every time. But it's sinking the arrows in, you know, about that far. And that right there is a heavy-duty target that's made for big compound bows and stuff. So, you know, it's not doing too bad of a job. I would not feel comfortable hunting with this right now. I would not feel comfortable at all hunting with this right now because I don't have shot placement by any means. But that's why you practice. So high. Alright, well, I'm going to keep on playing around with this for a little while. We'll see where we get. Okay, this is the fire lay. The plastic bag is for me to kneel on. Alright, I got some small stuff. I got some pine needles. I got some pine needles for a bird's nest. That's what we're going to try to use today. And then a little bit bigger stuff. All right, Boss kit and the chart cloth. I have chart cloth in here that I made and I know works well. So, I mean, I got several different ways of making fire, but here's my steel, here's my flint. Sorry about that, guys. I'm battling flies again. And take a piece of char cloth out, if I can get it out. Okay. Now in this kit they give you 4 pieces of char cloth, and they're pretty thin. So we'll see how they work. I'm gonna put that right back in here. Now I've never done this with pine needles, so it'll be interesting. David West from the David West channel, he does it with pine needles all the time. So it can be done. But do I have the skill set? That's the that's the thing. All right. Find a nice edge here. Stupid flies. And try this out. Ooh, that was almost there. Oh. Well, that landed right on the char cloth. Ah, there it goes. You can see it. Starting to go. Okay. We'll put this in our pine needles. Try to blow it to life. There we go. Well, we had fire. Wow. Whew. Failed attempt number 1. Like I said, I've never done it with pine needles before, so we will do attempt number 2. Okay, attempt number 2. This time I'm going to use some dry grass, make an actual bird's nest. You kind of want to get it so it's fluffy. Some of this stuff is just really, really dry. It's probably not going to melt together very much, but that will work. So let me put this down here. And set you up here so you can see. Another piece of char cloth out. Now, let's try this. Ooh, that's a wee bit warmer. And there we have fire. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yep, you guys can. Good. Yep. There is fire. Grass does it every time. Now if it'll stay going. Oh, wait a minute. We got these. Nature's secret weapon. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. This should help get rid of some of them dang flies too. I love fire, but you gotta respect fire, because fire can make sure you are able to survive, but it can also take your life away just as quick. Alright, I'm going to make a couple posts, or poles I'm going to stick in the ground, just for those little lanterns, so when it does get dark I can set, you know, one there, and it should light up the campground pretty good. Tomorrow when I make breakfast I'm going to have to start the fire, of course, and that's when I'm going to use the knife and ferrocerium rod. Let's get some pine pitch on this knife. Oh wow. Whew. Mind you, this is kind of green. It's been sitting for a little while, but it's still, wow. Well, she's definitely sharp. Gotta watch what I'm doing, or else I'm gonna end up taking more often out of what I want. Start using a little bit of push cuts here, because I want that one branch here at the end. Oh, I cut too deep into there. That's gonna be a little too short. Alright, well, into the fire that goes. I'll be back. Okay, let's try this again. I just basically want to make a stand. All I basically need is a pole. Oh, sorry. Hitting you guys with the with the tree branch. Now, this is stuff that was cut down. I think some of this actually was this spring. Had this land clear cut. There was a lot of pines and stuff. There was a lot of pines on this property itself. But now popple are growing back. Popple is a very quick growing tree anyway. So, I could use my axe for this, really. Well, we might as well try this bad boy out. We brought it out here. As you can tell, I'm sweating up a storm. Wow. This weather, it goes from 80 degrees down to 40 degrees at night. I don't even know what temperature it is, actually, to tell you the truth. It's got to be close to 80 though. And then the nights get cool. Poor kids want to be getting in the water, and the water's still cold because we don't have warm enough nights. Heck, I want to get into the water, and the water's still cold. But it is what it is. At least we can get out here and have some fun. Now this knife cuts real nice. It cuts sweet so far. But with the way this is, it's actually tiring out my pinky. I mean, it's a heavy knife too, you know, so I mean, it's gonna be, it's gonna tire out the hand. But we'll see how it feather sticks and stuff tomorrow. Yeah, that sun sure is warm. That is for sure. Alright, there's one. That'll hang from there real nice. Okay, I'm going to put the camera back away now for a little while. Because the sun is really hot. Of course, the camera's black, so I don't want the camera overheating. I'm going to make the other one, put them up, and then hopefully by then the sun will start, well, another hour or so, the sun should start getting closer to the trees and not quite as hot. I don't know if you guys can see that. Not, oh, probably just blinded you with my head. Sorry. I'm not quite sure what kind of bird that was. It was a hawk of some sort. It had a red head to it. I don't know. I don't know if you guys even had a chance to see it. I was trying to call it. Sorry. Yes, I am shirtless. It's hot out here. But it has a breeze, so it's kind of nice. It feels good. And usually I put my shirt on before I film because you guys don't need to see that. But if I would have done that, I wouldn't have gotten it at all. So, alright, if it comes back, I will try to get it on film. There is the tent. Okay, that's kind of spooky, actually. Sorry. I'm in the tent, and I've got the light going, the solar light that we had gotten from Battlbox. It's quite bright here. It's actually really nice. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sorry. I will see you in the morning. And we'll be cooking some eggs up. Good morning, everybody. I'm up a little later than I wanted to be, but it just felt so good to lay there. It's starting to get a little hot in the tent now, so it's time to get up anyway, get a fire going, get the eggs cooking. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. Okay, I don't know if you guys seen this before. I usually pre-make these before I come out. This usually is at the house, but you get yourself a little bit of petroleum jelly and a cotton ball. You take the petroleum jelly and put it on the cotton ball. Now you don't want to soak the cotton ball all the way through. Because what you want is you want enough petroleum jelly on there where it'll burn for a little while, but you want the cotton ball, you want to be able to bust the cotton ball open. And use the white fluffy stuff for ignition. Okay, as promised. we're gonna see how this works with the ferro rod. So, I got my cotton ball. I just want to fluff it up a little bit. Get some of this cottony goodness. All right. There it goes. I do like a longer ferro rod. That is for sure. Pine sure burns well, but pine needles, I should say, but boy, they are smoky. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, today will be basically packing up tent and gear. Yeah, once I get the water boiling, I can throw the eggs in. And I'll show you how I do that. It's very simple, but it's a very simple and mess-free way of cooking eggs. Okay, everyone. Just a little heads up, or not heads up, little tip or whatever. This is how I keep my food cold. Now, I'm only on a overnighter, so it doesn't have to stay cold very, like 2-3 days or whatever. But I have ice in a food grade dry bag. Keep my food cold. This is how I make my omelets. I make this before I even go out, of course. Put it in a Gatorade bottle. And I empty half of it into Ziploc. And this is just eggs and cheese. Oh, and sausage. Come on now, don't do that. Sausage is plugging it up. Ooh. Oh man. Boy, I screwed that one up. Concentrating too much on the other thing. Oh well, some wildlife will actually come and have a little egg. Well, at least I didn't lose too much. Take the air out of them. Lost half of that. Oh well. Not all the air. You don't need all the air. And now I got egg all over the place, so I'm going to have to go get some wipes. Thank goodness for first aid kits. I don't know if you can read that or not, if it's focused, but hand sanitizer. Woohoo. This also would double, of course, as a fire starter. If you needed to start a fire and you're stranded somewhere in your vehicle, okay, that shouldn't blow away. Make sure I don't touch the egg part on there. Then I bring it over to the pot here, and we are starting to get a boil. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but it is starting to. Okay, and simply set them in. So once that starts boiling rapidly and stuff, it'll cook them a little quicker. I mean, it's starting to cook the eggs right now, of course. There's enough heat to start cooking them. But it'll cook. It'll take probably about 15-20 minutes, something like that. But when it's done, I will show you the finished product. Okay, everybody. The smaller one of the two is done. The bigger one will be done here shortly. It's been about 20 minutes. Yep. It is all done and very, very hot. So yeah, it makes it pretty easy to make eggs. You don't have a bunch of cleanup or anything like that, like you would if you were to fry them in a pan. And if I want water, I either have to walk that way to the creek or go up to the house and get it, which really either or isn't that bad of a deal, but excellent. I have to put the fire out yet, make sure that's good to go. But other than that, everything is pretty much packed up and ready. The tent did pack into the bag without a lot of wrestling, so that's a good thing. I didn't get a chance to really test its waterproofness, if that's a word, because of, well, it didn't rain last night. We did get a heavy dew though, so, you know, I didn't wake up with any kind of water in the tent. One of these weekends, when I know it's gonna rain or it's got a high chance of rain, I'll take it out, set it up, and we'll see. We'll see if it leaks. Like I said, I like to seal them up one way or another because, you know, if you're out camping, that's not a fun time waking up wet, especially when it's cooler out. Get out of here. The hanging lamp worked well. I liked it. The bivvy, of course, I've used that before. It works pretty good. I actually, in the middle of the night, ended up putting it around my sleeping bag because it got down into the lower 40s. Trying to think what else. The knife I'm not quite sure on yet. It works great as far as the scraper and stuff. It seems like it dulled up a bit already, but I will test that when I get home and you know, strop it and stuff and see if it comes back. And if it does, I'll let you know. Of course, the bow, well, that was just more for fun. We already tested that. And luckily enough, I didn't have to test the first aid kit. I guess I could have tested some of the this bug bite cream in there. I could have tested that. But the sanitizer that you saw me earlier get out was from a different first aid kit. I actually have two of them in the truck here, or in the Jeep here, I'm sorry. The one stays in the Jeep, and then the other one goes in with my other gear and stuff, and it comes out camping with me. But yeah, it was a very enjoyable time. I really, really liked it. I love coming out here. It's peaceful, it's quiet. I don't have a care in the world except for, you know, do I really want to get up, or when do I want to start this fire so I can eat? Yeah, those kind of big problems. At any rate, I'm going to close off for now. So until next time, have fun, but be safe.